In terms of the way we understand leadership from an organizational perspective and a management perspective, the last 20 years, and in particular accelerated in the last 10, has really been a revolution. From the Industrial Revolution up until the end of the last century, there was a way of understanding what an organization is and what it is to be a manager or leader in an organization, and it came from the notion of a machine. So when you thought about Investec in this old metaphor, you would imagine that you've got these conveyor belts, and you were creating product which you were distributing to your clients, and human beings were being involved in creating and selling these products, firstly manufacturing them, and the human beings were like cogs in a machine. And as a leader, what you had to do was you had to kind of control all these pieces and put them together in a clever operating model with a inside of a strategy. And if you controlled it really nicely and you got everyone to do what they were supposed to do in their job description, and all those job descriptions were nicely lined up alongside each other, just like cogs in a machine, and there weren't any gaps between them or any missing parts or any broken parts, then the machine ran and you could do your thing. And the job of the leader was to make the machine work nicely. But we now are making a quantum leap or a singularity leap into a new way of thinking, which will create an exponentially more productive period if it is used correctly. And I just want to say, Investec never really did adopt this from inception. Investec from its inception has resisted the factory machine metaphor in the way it understands leadership. So this is not new to Investec, and I think it comes from a whole range of cultural ideas that we have. Everything gets reduced into a linear, compartmentalized, machine-like way of understanding how to organize all you people to work together to create value. The amount of variables in human interaction to create value are so much greater than the variables in a machine that if you use a machine metaphor, you then reduce all those human variables to a simple metaphor for a machine, and a whole lot of problems result from that. Complex adaptive systems. The idea that instead of a machine, which is a simple non-adaptive system, a machine cannot adapt to anything. It just does what you created it to do, and it is not complex. Once it's set, it just does what it does, right? Human systems are complex firstly and adaptive. Not to confuse complex with complicated. They sometimes are not complicated. Complex adaptive systems are open evolutionary aggregates. So I'm just helping you there. Evolutionary aggregates, it's like a neural network, like in your brain. What's really happening in this room is your brains are interacting with each other, and yet your brains themselves are neural. But then in your interactions with each other, you've got brains interacting with brains. All right? It's not, and it doesn't function like a machine does. It doesn't have its parts, which then have a system that engage. So a neural-like network is actually a better metaphor for how an organization really works rather than a machine. Interdependent agents, and you think about this, not just you as individuals are interdependent in the way that you come together to create value for the company, but your teams are interdependent. Your divisions are interdependent. The pillars are interdependent until you arrive at the whole of Investec, which itself is interdependent with, a commercial environment. From an educational point of view, the way we thought about leadership is, okay, we will teach you how to do this, then you go and you do this. That's again a machine metaphor. Actually, if we just leave the network alone, it doesn't not learn, it rapidly learns itself. Ironically, and this is very important for you to understand, telling people what to do shuts down their ability to actually learn on their own. How do neural networks achieve things, and what shuts them down and what activates them? That becomes now the job of a leader, as opposed to an engineer controlling the machine. Do you see the change? You have to let go of the illusion of control. The idea that you are a puppeteer as a leader, this whole idea that it's you that's doing the inspiring, the motivating, the feedback, and they are these little puppets, that is actually, it's just factually incorrect. It actually doesn't even work that way. Complex adaptive systems means that we will adapt just like we did in the Industrial Revolution, the same way the Industrial Revolution changed the nature of work and actually expanded what kind of work there was, and we could not even imagine pre-Industrial Revolution what the kind of jobs were. We currently face a singularity in which we can't even imagine the kind of jobs of the future. Now this is true for your brain. The way that a brain works, or the way that a complex system works, is that when it combines in a three-dimensional way all its capability, It is supremely more able to understand what's going on than thinking about one neural network system in it attending to it. Through an engagement, a genius emerges, and that genius is learning, because it is the organization, the organism that actually is thinking. Parallel to this movement into complex adaptive systems is the idea that all our destinies are tied, that actually the beehive is the thing that everyone works to make better because it's better for each bee. Actually, it's not that we move from individual to collective, it's that we no longer see the difference between the collective value and the individual value. They merge in a paradox. There is this place here is called the edge of chaos. It's over here. For the business to go across the edge of chaos is death to the business. You just will go crazy, okay? But leaders need to drive the business to be as close to the edge of chaos as is possible. If you do nothing to the system moves in through natural adaptation to increasing order. This is why we often say you got in a comfort zone. This is why we say we need fresh blood in the area. This is like why we say, the same team has been running, this business for the last 20 years. Brilliant institutional memory, incredible, but we need a fresh one or two people to join us to just light a fire under us and wake us up. Why? Because it's become too ordered, and we're becoming increasingly closed. And what happens at the edge of chaos? In this space, when you analyze how the system is, you maximize innovation, creativity, intelligence. So your job moves from controlling the people to deliver the value to creating the conditions in the environment which the people would self-regulate and create the value themselves. That's a simple way of thinking. So you occupy yourself with looking at the whole and going, what are the conditions here for people to really perform? Not, I'm going to control them to make it happen.